Oh, that was tingly. Oh, gotta try that.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Hey, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Episode 5 of the Flashback Fridays is here. We are August 1st. Can you believe it? Today we're going back to June 2013 or so, and we're doing my career in movie effects. Yes, I'm going to be showing you the last demo I did in order to show companies to hire me as a digital compositor in the movie business. My name is Frank, as you know. These unscripted things, I should practice before hitting record because I always seem to fumble, but I guess that's what makes them fun, right? So today I'm going to go and show you a little bit of my career flashback, and we'll end with the actual demo that I would send out to companies in order to hire me for future projects. So that in mind, my name's Frank Diorio. I just said that before. You're watching Diorama Workshop.com. Okay, we're going way, way, way back with this one. This is the first film that I worked on at the TV studio, which got this movie contract, which was like this direct-to-DVD. Obviously, I don't remember if it played in the theaters. I would doubt it. It was starring the wrestler Roddy Piper. You may have seen it. It's a cult classic, some people say, Sci-Fighters. This was 1996. Oh, I have to go to my Photoshop in order to change the pictures here. Let me just scroll down. Here we go. So this movie had such high quality costuming that they made the space police outfits out of Jiffy Pop silver foil material. At least that's what it made me think of, the Jiffy Pops. And mostly the sequences I had to do was this sort of like a interactive screen that the lady would go to the police detective and she would try to identify using her mind and come up with the different eyes and lips and different things like this. And I had less than a day to do the whole sequence because they were shooting at night and we had to send them the cassette so that it would play on the TV screen. And so the lady, when she would pretend that it was a touch screen, it would all work with the cassette remote control and all that. So it was very, very high tech for the time. Yeah, so we all have to start somewhere, right? Then 1998, Red Violin. This I am proud of. This was one of the, I guess you could consider it art house movie. And it's about, spoiler, block your ears if you don't want to hear. It's about this violin maker who made this violin, and then it's called the Red Violin because his wife died and he uses her blood to stain the violin, and the violin is red, and that's why it's called Red Violin. And then it goes through all the decades from, Mozart type era all the way to modern times in Montreal, where there's an auction for the Red Violin and Samuel Jackson is trying to bid on it, and anyone who touches the Red Violin ends up dying through the ages. And so I won't tell you if Sam dies or not, but there's good chances, I think. I don't even remember the ending, to tell you the truth, but that's pretty much it. We had some matte paintings to do. I didn't do the actual matte painting. I did the compositing for this. So this is what the original plate looked like, and this is what it looked like once the matte painting was behind. So a lot from this movie, people were saying, like, there's no effects in Red Violin, and you're going, yeah, it's because it's all subtle effects like this, and that's what made it cool. 2000, Exchange. This was with Stephen Baldwin and Kyle MacLachlan, the guy from Twin Peaks McClanahan. Well, how do you McLachlan? I can't even pronounce his name. And yeah, the concept of this was pretty bizarre. It was kind of like if you want to go and travel to someone else's city and you don't want to take an airplane, you can go to this exchange company, and then you would each sit in a machine, and then my mind would go into the mind or into the body of someone already in that city for the day, so I could go around, do my business trips and whatever, and then someone from that city would come and use my body while I was in another body, and so you would exchange bodies. However, you can only stay in a body for 24 hours, and the body that the guy switches with is a prisoner or a, sort of like a gangster or something like this, and he doesn't want to go give the body back after 24 hours because he's on the run. So then the other guy is going to die if he doesn't find the body back. So it's this cat and mouse kind of thing like that. It sounds a lot more exciting than it actually is, and yeah. So that's pretty much all I remember from this movie. Then Extreme Ops, 2002. This is another one of the early movies where we were doing mostly extensions of mountains and stuff for the avalanche sequences and things like that. Not very exciting. It's, yeah. I doubt anyone has seen this. Okay, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, 2002. This is actually a really good movie. It's the story, autobiography, so they say, of the guy who hosted The Gong Show, Chuck Barry, or Chuck Barris. I forget what his name is. And so apparently he was a spy and for the CIA or something like this. And he was doing Gong Show as a side, you know, his split personality kind of thing. And so we did some fun stuff. I had to do a scene where Gong Show type thing, where this piano fell on the lady, so she got squished, and then the piano, a mini piano, like the little kiddie piano, that fell on the dog and killed the dog after. So both of these people had to get squished by pianos. It was a lot of fun. 2004 brought Scooby-Doo 2, as my friends refer it to. This was at Meteor Studios. And yeah, I don't remember much of this film, actually. I think I saw it on TV the other day, and it was kind of unwatchable. Even though I worked on it, it was like kind of like, eh. We did a lot of scenes with the pterodactyl monster. So this is a scene I did the compositing on, where the pterodactyl is picking up the little van there. Here's another angle where you see the pterodactyl over here. And then the screen grab I did, I grabbed the cursor in the thing. Oh my lord. And then 2004, after that, we did Exorcist: The Beginning. Now, that was with Skarsgård, I believe. I can't remember much of this film. We had a sequence where there was little kids being attacked by hyenas. The hyenas were CG, obviously. And so this was another angle where the hyenas come and the little kids, and I think the little kid who is possessed on the left controls the hyenas. I don't remember much of this. I don't think it was a very big hit in the theaters. It was pretty much considered a flop, and I've seen it, I think, maybe twice. I don't remember much. Cursed, Wes Craven. It's cool to say I worked on a Wes Craven movie. 2005, Cursed is a vampire movie. And so it was a lot of teeth replacement with the CGI teeth, and then giving him cat's eyes and all of the different things like this on the actors and stuff like that. So that's what we did. Sony, I think, was the company that did the actual werewolf transitions, where they turn into the big full werewolf kind of look. And yeah, Christina Ricci was in that one. Then 2005, Fantastic Four. Now this, for me, my friends make fun of me because I still say to this day that I actually like this film. They say it's crap, but I like it. And for me, it was the first film that I worked on in my career that was actually a film that had toys, Burger King, posters, t-shirts, all the things that I loved through Star Wars as a kid. And Star Wars is what inspired me to go work in movie effects and eventually to ILM, where we'll get to later. And so this is actually a movie that I still enjoy watching today. If it's on TV, I'll still watch it. And most of the scenes that we worked on were the scenes with the Brooklyn Bridge, so where the Thing is all depressed and goes to this man goes to commit suicide, and then he falls on the street, and then the Thing uses his body to collapse this truck from squishing the guy on the bottom. So I was lucky enough to work on this scene, and the person who was working on it went on vacation. So then they said, Frank, can you finish? Because they wanted this in the trailer. So then I worked on it. They kept tweaking it. Then the person came back from vacation maybe 3 weeks later. I can't remember. But I had done so much additional work to it that it was... they decided that it was waste of time is not the correct words, but they decided that it would be easier for me to finish the shot instead of giving it back to the person who went on vacation. So I was lucky to finish the shot and have the version that you see in the theaters was the version that I worked on as well. And this was mostly green screen. You see the Thing in the green screen over here. And then we had to remove the rig. That was another person and different things like that. So each department, that's the thing that's fun of being a compositor, is that you have all the different departments in the movie studio. They work on their section, and then they send it to you, and then you put it on top of the footage that was filmed on the set. And then you go to dailies, where is the supervisor, the effects supervisor and the director tell you notes on what they want changed for the next day, and then you spend the whole day working on the changes. Then you show them again the next day. If they like it, it gets approved, and then they just put it into the film. Likely, it never happens like that. You have to do versions and versions and versions and versions and versions, and this one, I think, took something like 5 weeks or something to do. I can't remember the exact time, but anyway, that's how FX works in the films. And then Final Destination 3, I loved this film. I love all Final Destinations. Did you see the new one? Oh my God. Thank God I don't wear any nipple rings or anything like that, or any other rings, if you know what I mean from the movie. And I still mow the lawn, even though, let's not go into too many spoilers. But you should definitely watch the new Final Destination if you love the series. So the one that we worked on was the roller coaster one, number 3. And roller coaster scene is what we worked on. That was our sequence. So you'll see in the demo later, the shots that I worked on are the ones that you see in the demo, obviously. So it was a lot of... green screen roller coaster. The roller coaster in the background there is all CG, and it was a mix of real roller coaster and then additional, sort of to make the ride more exciting or dramatic or whatnot. So that was the kind of scenes that we worked on. That then see here, you see this is the part that I found that I even to this day that I find like that bugs me, is that whoever designed this roller coaster thing, the part on the right that you see over here, I don't know if you see the arrow or not, but the part on the right with the wagon, that is the real roller coaster. And then the part on the middle with the corkscrew, that's part of the real roller coaster. And then the part on the left is the fake CGI roller coaster. Now, if this was a real roller coaster, you would never have a high thing on the right and a high thing on the left, and then some corky screws in the center. Like it would... A roller coaster is never divided into two big sections like that, and then a small thing at... Anyway, it's just the design of the layout that they did, I found was kind of like took me out of it. But anyway, here's when the roller coaster crashes. You can't really make it out when you see it. You'll see it when it's in movement, but in a still, it's hard to tell what is what. And yeah, so after that, we worked on 300. Now, 300 is a movie I'm really proud of. This movie, we were supposed to work for 6 months, and it ended up being a year or a little more than a year. This was 2006. And this movie actually introduced me to Doug Tuback, which was a supervisor that they brought in from ILM to Montreal, because this was done at Meteor Studios as well in Montreal. And so from knowing Doug and becoming friends and all that, his brother was a supervisor at ILM in San Francisco, and he let his brother know that I wanted to go work there, that it was my dream to go there and all that. And that's kind of like the pull or the help that I got from Doug in order to get in the year after this. So in 300, we did the sequences for the "This is Sparta" pit where he kicks in the guy, and it was a lot of green screen and blue screen, so all of the city in the background and everything like that. And here's we did a lot of the wheat fields and whatnot. And oh, this is Transformer poster. But before I go to that, the thing that was cool, sort of, the movie still looks great. I'm not going to say anything about that. But they really wanted to go with the graphic novel originally, and the lookup table that they had originally put on the movie, which is kind of like color grading, they crunched it so much so that it was all, you'd really see contrast. It looked like the comic book, and it didn't look movie-ish, right? It looked really illustrated book, and they thought it was too much. I think at the test audience, I'm not quite sure when the decision was to kind of dial down a little bit on that and give us the look that was in the film. So, like I said, because of Doug, after 300, I managed to go work at ILM in San Francisco, 2007, for the first time on the very first Transformers, the best of all of the Transformers, in my opinion. I've not seen any of the new ones. I tried watching Bumblebee. I didn't like that. Mark Wahlberg ones, I think I watched one of them. I don't know. Transformers 1, 2, 3, I've seen the least. But this one, obviously, I've seen more than a dozen times or whatever. And Transformers was just like so cool to work on. All the people there and just walking around the ILM studios. I'll have to do a separate video on ILM, my adventure times at ILM. But yeah, it was really, really cool to work on that. And then there's a scene that I worked on. One of the shots I did was like I told you at the beginning, you have to submit your shots to dailies, and I didn't have time to tweak everything that I wanted. I just layered all the layers on top of the CG and all the different things, and the smoke and all the different things like that. And my friend Carlos still today razzes me about this, where the smoke was just, I hadn't even played with the transparency of the smoke, and so it just looked like these big cigarette puffs would appear at his feet, and everyone apparently was laughing. I don't remember that part, but it looked like there was steam coming out of his feet when he was walking. And obviously that's not what you see in the final version, because I had time to tweak it and fix it and whatever. But yeah, that was funny. And this was one of the parts that sometimes don't what is that, the expression, wish what you wish for, or don't, I forget what the expression is. But this is when Megatron, he jumps off the building, and then he turns into this airplane, and then he flies away, and that was it. And then at ILM, what they do is that all the movies that they work on, they always create a back catalog that you can go look through the files. And so I found this big jet explosion that you see on the left, and I put that in as a temp just to show them, the effects supervisor, Pat, and Pat Tuback, and I wanted to see what he thought. And then when they saw it, they went like, "Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so now take the temp and make it into the final version." I'll tell you, adding this orange transparent fire and smoke and everything on top of the blue of the sky, what a headache that was. I think I spent at least a week and a half just trying to tweak that. I kept doing version, change, more transparent, less transparent, more orange, more yellow. Oh my God, I had opened a Pandora's box, but the final shot works really well. And then the Bumblebee, this was my first shot that was approved working at ILM. It was like not even a 2-second shot. And after this was approved, I was walking down the halls. This was maybe 3 weeks after I started working there. And I actually started crying because I couldn't believe that I was actually in my dream job and walking the halls that all the other artists walked in before. And at ILM in the halls, when you walk around, everywhere you look, on the walls, on the ceilings, everywhere, there's all props and models and everything from 40 years of movies that they worked on. So you have like the Enterprise hanging, you have Roger Rabbit, Die Hard building, all kinds of stuff. And it's really, it's so emotional when you go there for the first time. And it's like, I have such great memories of working there and walking the halls and everything. So after Transformers, I worked on Terminator in 2009. Now this was, I guess, semi-hit, but it wasn't the hit that they were hoping because they wanted to relaunch a trilogy with this, and they only did the one version, the one film. And the shots that I worked on that were some of the end scenes over there, and then there was the scene at the beginning where the Terminator tries to get to John Connor through the helicopter and stuff like that. And then there was the scenes where the kids fall off the bridge. They get chased in the bridge by the motorcycles and they fall off. And then the Terminator sort of like big ship catches them and brings them to the sort of like concentration camp of the humans type of thing. So those are like the sort of like the ballpark sequences that I worked on. Then my mom's Alzheimer's started getting worse and I had to leave ILM and go back to Montreal. So friends of mine at Vision Globale, they were working on this big production at the time, 2012, called Upside Down. It's like a Romeo and Juliet with Kirsten Dunst and Jim Sturgis. I don't remember what movies that he was in, but I think you know who Kirsten Dunst is. And basically, it was like this. It's two planets that are very close to each other, where you can, when you're at the top of one planet and at the bottom of the other planet, you can touch each other, like you see here. And it's sort of like the bottom planet is the poor class, and the top planet is the high class, and different things. You should check it out. It's the visuals are pretty good and the story is not bad. It's not the best, but it's a pretty good movie. Here's the example of there's in the office floor. If you're on floor 0, the bottom half of the floor 0 is where the man is at the bottom, and then at the top ceiling of the floor 0, the gravity is on the other end, and so you can toss something from the bottom to the top, and the other person will catch it. And anyway, that sort of like shows you a little bit of the idea of the concept of the movie. Then, 2014, Edge of Tomorrow, Tom Cruise, and then Emily Blunt. This is the first film that introduced me to Emily Blunt. I know she did a lot of things before that, but I just love this film. I'm so proud of having worked on this film. I've seen it 20 plus times. I can't remember the number of times I've seen it. I'll watch it again and again and again. See what I did there? But I'm sure you've seen it. So Sony did a lot of the work of the first sequences with the first beach landing and all the stuff like that. And the shots that we worked on is basically when he loses his power and then they go to France at the Louvre and then they have to like kill the big boss at the end. And so this is one of the shots. It's a grab that I took off YouTube because I couldn't find my shots anymore from this. And this is after the demo, so I couldn't grab it from there. And this is one of the shots I worked on where the mimic stabs the guy shooting, and then the black guy gets stabbed and dragged into the water and different things like that. So this was so much fun to work on this film. The crew was great. I miss my friends back home in Montreal. And yeah, so this is like a plus, 10 on 10, 15 on 10, 100 on 10 for this film. Dracula Untold, 2014. I worked on that, and I don't remember much. Luke Evans, I think, is the actor who's in it. They tried to revive the Universal Monsters with this, and it didn't really work. Tom Cruise did the Mummy version. I don't think that worked either. And yeah, I don't remember even what shots I worked on that. I know my memory is going, but yeah, this is yeah. And then Paddington, I helped out on some of those shots in between while I was working on other things. And this was 2014, the first Paddington. And the scenes that I helped was at the England, at the train station or whatever it's called. I think it's Paddington. Is that what it's at? Is it a Paddington station? Is that why he's called Paddington? I don't even remember. I don't even think I watched the whole movie. This is like a kid's movie. I did see Stuart Little and different things like that, and Babe. I used to love those films, but now it's like, I don't know, I've turned into the Grinch or something, and I don't like those movies anymore. I probably liked Babe and rewatching those, but this to me is like, I make fun of my friends, especially Carlos. Like, he's been working on like the fourth one now, or a fifth. I don't remember how many. I go like, don't you do anything then, Paddington? You know. So, then Geostorm was one of the films we worked on there, a disaster thing, 2016. I don't remember much of this either. I can't even remember what shots I worked on, whatnot. But anyhow, it's Gerard again from 300, and yeah. 2017, Alien Covenant. That was my last film that I worked on NPC. My aunt started going bad with her Alzheimer's. I was misfortune of 2 people that I took care of that had Alzheimer's. And so I had to leave early in my contract. And so the shots that we were working on was all the things of the landing on the wheat fields when they see the aliens for the first time, and then the alien goes inside the ship and then it bursts and all stuff like that. So that's what we were working on over there. And then in 2017 is when I retired from the movies. Yep. So that's pretty much some of the highlights of the movies that I worked on, but I know that you don't want to see just still pictures. You'd like to see the actual clips that I worked on, right? So, without any delay, let us do that. Now, the first part of the demo has no sound, so I'll do a bit of voiceover, but then after that, I'll just keep quiet so that you could listen in on some of the voices or the sound, the actual sound track kind of thing. Okay, so here we go. You ready? 3, 2, 1. So this is Upside Down. These are some of the shots that we did over there. This beautiful work that we did in Montreal. And it's not a very big studio. We were like a crew of less than maybe 100 people. Or I know in the compositing we were like 25 or 20 people like that. So see, this is the young Kirsten Dunst before turning into Kirsten Dunst. And see the guys on the bottom, the girls on the top in that crevice there that I don't know if you could see her. There's that tossing the box scene that I showed you. Here's another scene where the guy's speaking on the podium on the top, and then at the bottom there's people sitting down. And after that, I think we're getting into Transformers talkie after this one. So I'll let you listen in on that.
Wow, that was tingly. Oh, gotta try that.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Disgusting. Permission to speak, sir. I wish to stay with the boy.
Madman. This is blasphemy.
Their name.
Come back with your shield. Or on it.
Okay, I think that's the end of the sounds for those things. So this is Final Destination roller coaster. And then here's the footage. We had to, all the left, those bright lights there, that was all added. This was, see, this is the part I told you where on the left it looks weird. And here's green screen parts where the roller coaster is going up and down. And then this is all CG, this part. And then this is all CG too, and that's where premonition, that's where she wakes up. This is our Scooby-Doo 2, and this is the pterodactyl scene there where the pterodactyl is chasing after the gang there. This is the red violin. This is with the matte painting inside, so there's no actual city that the carriage is going to. It's just going into a regular cliff. Here's some making ofs. So this is the scene that I did, one of the scenes from Terminator, and you see that there's a guy in a suit that they erased over here. That was another department, the roto department, that did that, or the cleaning department. Here's the original shot footage, background footage of the truck. Here's the Ben in green screen who had to remove the wire. Here's the guy on the floor. These are all the different layers of the Brooklyn Bridge. I think it's Brooklyn Bridge. And then here's some rotos for the cars, and then here's the placement, and then we had to do color correcting and stuff, and adding shadows, and then putting him inside the truck, adding some particles and smoke and all kinds of layers. So that's what we do, is basically I would just put all the layers together until you get something that the director is happy with. Here's the original footage, the crane footage for the roller coaster, where they did a 360. And then here's, see all of the layers for the, there's lots of compression in this, so it's not the greatest video quality. It was VHS at the time, or DVD. I don't remember where the originals were grabbed from or whatever, but so this is a see, that's the original roller coaster on the left, what it looked like. And then these are the city lights, and there's the roller coaster that we had to play with or insert over here. That's the roto for the real roller coaster. So that's the footage. There's Scooby. There's the pterodactyl. Then we had to put Scooby, replace the stunt woman, or put Scooby inside. So we had to color correct the stunt woman, the color of the seat, so that you wouldn't be able to see that she was in there. And then you had to put the pterodactyl behind certain parts of the van using rotoscope and different techniques like that. Here is the original footage for the carriage. See, it's going towards mountains and stuff like that. And then you will see a wipe over here where the matte painting gets inserted. There we go. See, they just insert like that. So when people were at the theaters, they thought it was just carriage going to an old city in Europe. And why is it black? I think that's because that's where it finishes. Oh my lord, I thought it lasted much longer than that. Well, there you go. That was my Flashback Friday of my career. Well, it's kind of sad to see that my whole career is resumed in 3 minutes. But I miss my friends. I miss the behind-the-scenes work. I do not miss the hours. Working in film is long hours, long overtime. And I think a lot of stuff is going to change with AI now. I think AI is going to replace a lot of the work, which is sad. But I think that's what's going to happen, unfortunately. So With that said, if you like the Flashback Fridays, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and come visit the channel for the daily streams to see what I'm up to. And I am almost finished my tutorial for the closet, the Death Star control room closet, and I think that'll be up on Tuesday for Tutorial Tuesday in the beginning of August. So I think that's August 2, 3, 4, 5. August 5 is probably when it's going to end up going. So anyway, I think I talked enough. Let me give the last word to our friend Ben Kenobi. Ciao for now.
Hello there. The Diorama Workshop is strong with the Force, a place where creativity and craftsmanship bring worlds to life. Subscribe now, and may the Force be with you.